Welcome back. You're watching Checkpoint. Thank you for staying with us. Now get this, as of August 1st, 2023, there was a change at the helm of University of Nairobi as Professor Stephen Kiama proceeded on a 6-month leave. The council appointing Professor Julius Ogengo to discharge the Vice-Chancellor's duties in an acting capacity. So tonight we seek to lay bare the leadership wrangles, if any, at Kenya's oldest university. Before I get to introduce my guest, let's start by evaluating an email by the Directorate of Corporate Affairs, John Orindi, sent to all staff and students at the University of Nairobi, which I read, and I quote, "This is to inform you that the Council of the University of Nairobi, during its special meeting on July 31st, approved the Vice-Chancellor's request dated July 28th to proceed on leave for a period of 6 months with effect from August 1st. In the absence of the Vice-Chancellor, the Council appointed Professor Julius Ogengo to discharge the duties of the Office of the Vice-Chancellor in acting capacity effective August 1st, 2023. So the big question is, were there undercurrents perhaps to the request for leave by the professor, and was there a conflict between the council and the professor? Equally, we want to look at the formation of a university council, and to help us delve deeper into this particular matter, I'm joined by Dr. Maloba Wekesa, who's the Secretary General of WASU in the UON chapter. Daktari, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
And we appreciate your input right here. Let's start with perhaps understanding what exactly the University Act says when it comes to the formation of a university council.
Thank you very much, Jesse. I want first to start by calming nerves before I can go there.
Okay.
The more important thing and the broad situation that we faced with is we need to address, because there's an image of instability about the University of Nairobi that we need to dispel. It affects the relationship with our collaborators out there, international partners, and it is not a good image. And secondly, that with this kind of rotational changes, we are also compromising the brand. And the brand of the University of Nairobi has been cultivated for a long time. We have to be very careful. Destroying a brand is just like that.
Okay.
And thirdly, that the anxiety with some of these changes always affects lecturers. It affects students. We're just about to have freshers coming in. It affects parents. Parents keep calling. Are you people okay? The squabbles and all that, that is exactly what we want to address. But more importantly, what you have asked there, where is the problem? And I'm going to go back to 2012. That is where the problem started. When a new University Act came into play. I know there was an idealism behind it. But that idealism was that let's get eminent men and women of society from outside of the university. They'll bring an air of innovation about how the university is run. But again, this is very unique to Kenyans. We are very good at taking a very brilliant idea and bastardizing it immediately. This was actually the thinking at that time, but it was an experiment. I can show you from various researches the way we constitute the university councils in Kenya is just unique to Kenya, because we said everything now has to be with the CS. Look at the University of Berkeley, Cape Town University. You know, these are top-ranking university. In fact, even within East Africa, Rwanda University, how you constitute, even Makerere, Dar es Salaam. The people who are in charge of that university councils have to be the ones who actually know the ethos of that university. Correct. They know the traditions. That's the reason why you pick one person from the community. Look at even how boards of schools are constituted. Okay? It is not just reward of political patronage, no. You get members from different areas, okay? And those are the people who know the university. We would have wanted a full professor there, selected by his peers, workers representatives there, okay? Students, they used to sit, by the way, previously before 2012. That is where the rain started beating us, because then we gave this to politicians now to make decisions. And the moment you have politicians making decisions, trust me on this, something is going to go wrong. And that is exactly what has happened. Political patronage took over. Now it was, can you reach the cabinet secretary so that I can get an appointment? Now you end up with people who do not want to do something for the university. They want to get something out of the university. And I can tell you the stories that we hear. Some of them being, you know, they want to come for a meeting because that's all they do now. They want allowances. Someone wants to come from Wajir, you have to pay him. You have to, and sometimes even when they have meetings, by the way, they take off. Now you have to sign. To just sign, you have to bus that person. You have to give him security. You have to pay him. You have to pay per diem. This is not fair.
So what you're saying in context is the appointment of the University Council by the Cabinet Secretary amounts to political patronage.
Definitely.
So in terms of recommendations, and we had the Presidential Party on Education Reforms just working recently, were these proposals actually aired out, and what would be the ideal scenario? Because you've mentioned other universities in the region and how they pick representation from the community, equally from the parents and whatnot. How best should it be done?
I did present to the Presidential Working Party the position of WASU when they came, actually, and we were glad that it was even held at the University of Nairobi, and I made my submissions there.
Okay.
Among them, I even said we need to re-engineer the architecture of how we are appointing councils. That was at the heart of it. And I said, we can donate people from various sectors, okay? Like I said, a professor. The alumni, can you imagine the depth of human resource that the University of Nairobi has? The alumni has no say. In Alliance High School, the alumni has a say on even who becomes the principal.
All right.
The alumni should be there, the students, members of the public, eminent people.
Okay.
So that when they come there, then they will be making decisions knowing very well that the values of this place are this. And this is how we expect things to be run. Yes.
Okay, so proposal was handed over. It hasn't been enforced as of yet.
Well, I have not read the entirety of the Presidential Working Party submissions,
Okay.
what they have. But there is still an opportunity. This is a great opportunity so that we can actually re-engineer. And you can see the problem where it is. Now, if you go to the University of Nairobi, can you imagine, from 2018 till right now, just in a span of 5 years, we have had Timothy Kirui, Dr. Timothy Kirui. I don't even know if he even was in office for, no, he just left. We had Abdi Ogle, okay? Which is strange, by the way, because Dr. Ogle was actually a student of that time of the Vice Chancellor. So you can imagine a student being, you know. But anyway, fine.
Council, yeah.
Then there was Miriam Were. Right. Miriam Were was appointed 2020.
All right.
Professor Miriam Were never even got into office. She was removed. They put Julia Ojambo. Julia Ojambo lasted just slightly under 1 term. Out. Then Professor Miriam Were. These are very eminent people. They came back. Now Miriam Were has gone 1 year later.
So let's talk about what exactly is happening currently. And we don't want to personalize this whole issue. I definitely understand your position of authority in WASU. But from your point, from where you're sitting, what exactly transpired so that we actually got to where we are today?
I don't want to speak on behalf of Professor Kiama or anyone. No, because that is... Professor Kiama is a full professor. He's capable of speaking for himself.
Definitely, yeah.
And he can definitely do that. He interviewed, I think part of your team interviewed him. And he said, I had not taken leave. Whether that's true or not, it's not important here. The more important thing is, we are expecting first years to come to the university. Very soon, okay? We are having graduations which are lined up, okay? Yeah. Professor Ogengo, who has been appointed, a contract lapses in February next year. Here is a chancellor, Dr. Vijora Tansi. Her term ends on 5th of December. So the question is, who is trying to destabilize the university, and where will we pick it up from? Why can't we have men and women of honor who can say, this is where the problem is? And I can tell you, the problem exists also in the structure of management. Okay? The structure of management. We went to court. We went to court as the union. when changes which were instituted by Professor Julia Ojambo started taking effect because they were contrary to the charter. Do you know what? The court agreed with us. In fact, if anything, they held the vice chancellor in contempt. He was supposed to actually to go for sentencing. All right? He appealed the decision. The matter is still resting in court. He wanted to enter consent. And the consent he wanted to enter was roll back any kind of changes that you were making to the university. He was having things like associate DVC. There was nothing like it's alien. Executive deans. We didn't want these things.
Okay.
And we went to court on principle that the charter was being compromised. That structure of management must actually still be rolled back. And what we are witnessing right now is that someone wants to re-engineer it to come back. We are saying flatly no. As the union, we are not going to watch the University of Nairobi go to the dogs. We have to stand up, we have to speak, and we have to speak with clarity of mind that the University of Nairobi will survive all of us. Yes.
Okay, well noted, Daktari. And I think I'll give you just 1 minute final say as we finalize, because time is not on our side. You've mentioned the problem. You've definitely mentioned your remedy as of UWASU and your position. I mean, and you've definitely highlighted the cost that it might implicate on the university in terms of it being the oldest university in the country and what questions are arising out of this push and pull. So finally, as we finalize, your final comment. Briefly.
My final comment will be as simple as this.
Yeah.
Let us look at the charter that created the University of Nairobi.
Okay.
Let us follow it to the letter. Let us follow it to the letter. This idea of looking for any other excuses around it and creating, ghost things, no, we don't want that. Let the truth simply rise up. It's as simple as that.
Okay. Thank you so much. The Secretary General of UWASU, the University of Nairobi chapter, Dr. Maloba Wekesa, just joining us, highlighting some of the issues we've seen bedeviling Kenya's oldest university. That's the University of Nairobi. Most recently, a change at the helm, and definitely the doctor has highlighted some of the issues, including sticking to the university chapter and including the University Act, which he thinks should be relooked at. We'll definitely continue highlighting some of the issues around the education sector, and allow us to take a short break on that particular note. When we come back, we have more details for you, including efforts to curb early pregnancy.